Hello darlings, Marianne here, just wanting to continue my series, excuse me. I'm just getting over a cold, so if I sound a little stuffed up, then that is what is going on. I keep waiting till I feel better or everything's perfect, and if you wait for that day, then you'll never do anything. So I just keep going with these videos, even if I don't, feel great or don't think I look great. I'm just gonna post something up here because it's really not about perfectionism. You can't wait till everything's all lined up to move out, or you'll stay stuck your entire life. And this has always been a bit of an issue for me, so I am pushing myself to do these videos. Anyway, today I wanted to tackle a bit of a difficult subject, and that is the topic of suicide. It's a huge topic, really, and in this age, in the West, it's actually one of our bigger problems. It's almost like a dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about. But most coroners will tell you that the largest sort of group of deaths that they have to deal with is suicides. It's sort of that thing that no one's very comfortable talking about. So I'm going to be pretty raw, I'm pretty blunt, I'm to the point. I'm not going to mess around. I mean, it's a serious topic and people need serious answers, especially if you're struggling with suicide. I would say, first of all, I think it's actually completely normal. I know we tend to sort of give people a hard time with any mental health issues, but I think it's perfectly normal and natural to get to a point where you just want to give up. And life is not easy. This is not an easy time to be on the planet, but we have to remember that we've all chosen on some level to be here at this time. So there are perfectly good reasons why you're here. You've actually agreed to it on a soul level, on a contract level. Before you came into this incarnation, you've agreed to certain relationships, you've agreed to life challenges, believe it or not. So when things happen, try to look at it from a bigger perspective instead of this is uncomfortable or this is painful and wanting a way out. Because I tell you, karmically, the problem with suicide, and first of all, I would just say I've never judged anybody that's suicidal or attempted suicide, or if you have a relative or friend that has been successful and committed suicide, it's not something I'd ever judge. I don't believe it is judged. I believe that it's really it's just a mental illness or a tough day or whatever you want to call it. This is not something someone in their right mind would do. And most of us are not in our right minds here because this experience is usually pretty fear-based. And it's easy to be in your wrong mind, your ego mind, your false self, whatever you want to call it. And that is a very critical place to be. That voice is the one that's always beating us up, that says that we're never doing enough, we're never doing it right, we're never pretty enough, rich enough, good enough, prayerful enough, thin enough, all that stuff, all that crap. So you can't listen to that voice. Number one, it's not who you really are. You are the observer of that voice. So the ego would love to just destroy us any chance it gets. If it can't mess up your life, it'll try to take you out with thoughts of suicide. Now, it's not something to be afraid of. It's just sort of the natural way of that things are. Well, not that you could say it's that natural, but anyway, a lot to cover, and I'm bouncing all over the place. But the point is, if you commit suicide, what happens is you have to push through again this difficult time in another lifetime. So you won't go to hell or anything like that. I don't believe in such a place, and everybody's got their own opinion. I can't expect you to believe what I believe, but I just don't believe in a judgment. I've seen too many past lives and too many regressions, and never had anyone with an experience of hell, and I just don't believe it anymore. I used to believe in it, but I just don't. I don't think there is such a place. I think this can be hell, this experience, when you're trapped in a negative mindset. I mean, with an ego beating you up every day, you don't need hell. You're in it. So there's a good reason to hang on another day. Is you're going to have to work through this pain anyway. Whatever it is that someone that's suicidal would be trying to avoid in this lifetime by thinking there's an easy way out or a quick way out, you're going to have to go through it again if that's not clear enough. Okay, so go through it now, push through it now, because it'll be easier now, believe it or not, than having to come back and have the same set of circumstances all set up again and then have to push through it again. It's going to get harder and harder. So push through it. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and give yourself a little pep talk, and you got this. There's always a better day, a better mindset, and it can be today. You can change your state, and the fastest way to change your state when you're in a place of depression or feeling stuck is to move your body physically. So whether you got to get up and dance, whether you got to get out of bed and go for a walk if you're depressed and you're in bed, you have to move. Physical movement is going to jolt you out of that feeling of being stuck. Really important. Easiest, quickest, fastest way out. Go for a walk, go for a run, go for a swim, do some yoga, whatever you got to do. Even if it's just getting dressed and that's a huge accomplishment for you today, then do that. Move your body. Talk to yourself. You know, you've got to be your own coach. You've got to be your own everything, best friend. You can't rely on everybody else. You know, you have to be able to pick yourself up and talk yourself down off the ledge, because nobody cares about you but you. And you know what I mean? Like, really, no one knows you. No one knows what you need but you. And you have the ability to talk yourself out of this. Just like you would talk to your best friend if they called you up right now and said, you know, I'm feeling this way. What would you say to them? Well, turn that on yourself and say those things to yourself, you know, in a good way. Okay, so what else? Suicide. So yeah, I actually believe that we've all committed suicide, believe it or not. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but you know, we've had a lot of lifetimes. Unless you happen to be one of the few people that are new to the planet and haven't been here a lot of time, you know, you haven't had a lot of lifetimes, then you may be here to help. You may be from one of the angelic realms, and you're here to sort of help move us along. And you haven't had a whole bunch of lives. But I think for the average old soul, which most of us, you know, that are around these days, we've all had those lifetimes where we've wanted out, and some of us have probably done it multiple times. So yeah, I'm trying to sort of normalize it a little bit, I guess. I just don't believe that it's so final. That's the thing. It's not final. Nothing we do here is. Death is not final. It's just the beginning of, you know, the end of this lesson. Yes, we're in a school. Other people might say this is a great illusion or a dream state, which I also believe. I actually believe that more. But there's sort of lessons within that. There's a waking up process that happens, and you can wake up one of two ways. You can wake up either through your own choice in a nice gradual process that is pleasant, or you can wake up through necessity, which is like a life challenge or some sort of tragedy usually. And these are not pleasant ways to wake up. Much nicer to choose to wake up and to really get on board with your own healing and your own personal development, and your own spiritual connection is really important as well. If you are feeling suicidal, you have to have, I really believe this, we all need some connection to our higher self, to our team, our spirit guides, our angels. We have deceased loved ones, most of us. On the other side, we have an entire team, and it's incredible, that support. And if you can find a way to connect, even if it doesn't have to be anything religious, of course not. You know, you're a spiritual being, and you have much spiritual help on the other side. So it's just a matter of sort of checking in, clicking into that. That's all. Just aligning yourself with that energy. Even if it's just sitting there for 5 minutes and just breathing in the love of God and just focusing on love. If God is even too threatening for a lot of people, then, you know, most of us believe in love, then kind of feel into that energy. There is love for all of us. And sometimes it can feel a long way away, but, you know, just want to encourage anybody that's struggling today that you are loved, you are surrounded, it's not hopeless. You will get help to get out of whatever situation you're in. And I can totally identify, it can feel really dark sometimes, or hopeless, or, you know, what is it all for, or pointless. Very common emotions. Well, it's important to have a point. It's important to feel like you have a purpose. It's important to have a spiritual connection, and it's also important to be grateful. If you can do those three things on a daily basis, just little reminders, what is your purpose? Or even just ask, put it out there into the universe, what is my purpose? How can I turn whatever I've gone through into some sort of purpose to help somebody else? Or, you know, even if it's just feeling like you're in survival mode right now and you have to save yourself first, perfectly fine. Do that. You know, changing your state, like I said, keeping yourself moving physically is really important, especially battling depression. And then, of course, the whole point of this video is to talk about past life healing. And what can happen is if we've had a suicide part in the past, we can have a lot of guilt and associated with it, which is understandable, but it's not necessary. We don't have to feel guilt about that if we think maybe we have committed suicide in a past life. You can review those past lives and have some understanding as to why maybe you did it. But you can't don't jump to conclusions. You really want to review before you decide, or before you think you know what you've done or been in another life. Find a regressionist near you, ideally. If you're in the Southern California area, I'd love to work with you. I also can work on the phone quite comfortably, and my clients are quite comfortable with it. We just have to be able to hear each other's voice. So that's about it on this subject. I know it's a bit of a tough one. I think I covered it. I'm sure I didn't completely cover it, but if that helps anybody, then I'm, you know, appreciative of that. My website is maryannerodgers.com, which is MaryanneRodgers.com. And my contact details are there if you'd like to reach out to me. Look out for more videos on different subjects, and I will be talking to you soon. Thanks, guys. Take care.